Órale, Cholo Trucker Mas movies and shows, and here we got the movie Nonstop. Now, the movie Nonstop came out in 2014 and is an hour and 46 minutes long. You can find Nonstop on Netflix, Google Play Movies and TV, Fandango at Home, and Amazon Prime. I went ahead and I watched it on Netflix. Rotten Tomatoes has this movie at 62%. A little bit low for me, but nonetheless, they have it at 62%. Let's get to the description. Alcoholic and world-weary U.S. Marshal Bill Marks, played by Liam Neeson, lost his passion for his work long ago. Even though lives are potentially at stake during every flight, he sees the assignment as just a desk job. However, his ordinary day at the office becomes a high-stakes crisis during a flight to London. Marks receives a series of text messages demanding that he instruct the airline to transfer 150 million into an offshore account or a passenger will die every 20 minutes. Okay, I had never heard of this movie. I had no idea this movie existed. I was just on Netflix checking out something else, and it came across my feed, and I'm like, hey, let me check out the trailer. And when I did, I'm like, well, okay, this looks interesting. Let me make a little bit of time to go watch this movie. I went ahead and watched it, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. Um, this is basically kind of your typical Liam Nielsen movie, um, but it's in an airplane. Okay. Now, the description pretty much gives you what the movie is. There are some descriptions that really don't give you what the movie is. He is an alcoholic and he has his reasons for being an alcoholic, right? He's a little bit of a miserable mess, all right? And all he has left is his job. And when he's just thinking about it, like, well, it's just an everyday job, he gets this text message out of nowhere, just randomly, and he's all like, it's a threat. Sure, it's a threat, but is it a real threat? And he raises a little concern. Come to find out, oh man, it is a real threat. And this is real. Okay. Now, everybody knows his past, his problem with alcohol, the airline, the pilots, right? Everybody that knows that he's a U.S. air marshal, they know what he struggles with. Okay, so there's a lot of questions going in his direction, like, hey man, how many have you had today? Right? Which kind of sucks for him because nobody wants to believe him. Like, hey, no, there is something really going on here. Now, the mystery of this movie is what I really love. Okay, I really love him trying to figure out, okay, who's doing this? Because whoever is doing this knows him pretty damn well. And you start looking at the passengers and you're like, okay, he has struck up conversation. There are passengers in the movie that stick out. Obviously, not every single passenger in the movie becomes a star of the movie, but leading into the flight, getting onto the plane, there are passengers that are sticking out that he has conversations with. He goes ahead, scopes them all out. And just him trying to track down and him trying to figure out which passenger is the one in charge of all of this? How do they have his phone number? How are they texting him? And how can he go ahead and figure out who it is? Um, I really enjoyed this movie. I really truly enjoyed this movie. And then at the end, when you figure out who it was, um, it doesn't makes sense completely, but it's like, oh, okay, well, it really had nothing to do with what you're seeing here on the movie Nonstop. You just kind of have to pick up on the story on it. But nonetheless, I really enjoyed this movie. I really truly did, and I do recommend this movie. I highly recommend this movie. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 62%. I'm gonna go a little bit higher. I'd probably put it at 82%. I really enjoyed the heck out of this movie. Is it just your typical other Liam Neeson movie? Yes, to a certain degree, but the difference here is you're confined to an airplane. right? There's not a lot of time to kill. His watch keeps going every 20 minutes. He has to reset his watch. It's like, oh man, somebody else is gonna die in the next 20 minutes. So I gotta figure out who it is. And at the same time, try to keep it down. Try, try to keep it on the down low, not freak people out. It's I really enjoyed this movie. This movie was really, really good. And the fact that he's struggling with his life outside of work just makes it that much better. His character, I loved it. I really did. When it came to the villain, I was like, okay, I guess I could kind of see this villain a little bit in like a superhero movie, but nonetheless, I really enjoyed it. I really did, and I really recommend the movie nonstop. Cholo Trucker, Moss Movies and Shows. Catch you guys on next one.